podcast for not just the school, but also the district, right?
Yeah,
and we have two special guests.
My name is Jonathan Bertrand.
My name is Butler.
And we're just going to be talking about how social media, they're going to be explaining how social media has impacted not just children, but, adults too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, how has social media been?
Well, it's been interesting. As you probably know, there's a lot of things going on in the world, but mainly it affects the youth. Y'all, in high school. And, what we're trying to do at the Social Media Research Institute is basically help you. So if you're dealing with bullying, cyberbullying, mental health issues, or you just need an outlet, we're trying to develop those things. So I have a question for y'all. Being in high school, have you ever dealt with any online bullying or things that may come up online that you're like, this should be addressed?
Well, for me, I don't think I've been bullied, but I've seen experiences of other people being bullied.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in middle school, we had these fan pages and stuff.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of them.
Yeah, and it was one of them was a girl in the locker room, changing. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, they have a lot of stuff that shouldn't really, people don't want to see that, and they still post it, and they don't think of other people's. Either they don't think of the privacy, or they just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
They find it funny.
I mean, so when it comes to the school itself, because I know a lot of these things happen outside of school, but it gets brought into school. Are there things, or are you made aware of policies, or things that hey, if you do this outside of school, this could affect you in school type conversations? Do you guys have that here?
No, not really.
Do you think it's needed?
Yeah, for sure.
Because a lot of these kids here, or kids in general in school, don't really know any boundaries with people or adults or anyone their age, really.
And what's the age range you think here when it comes to the schools? Because we're from the East Coast, so what is the?
I feel like mainly our age, right?
Yeah, teenagers. I think that's when it starts to get really, really bad.
And do your parents really keep up with your guys' social media?
No.
Mine are aware of what I should and shouldn't be doing, or
Okay. Well, Butler, as a parent, how does it affect you? Two young ladies here that are in high school. I know you have two daughters. How would you feel if social media impacted them?
Well, I'm really on top of my kids when it comes to their social media page. I got a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old, and both of them do have a Facebook account and a Snapchat account. So what I usually do is we have secured that their Facebook account is that we put a certain limit on their phones. Before they friend anybody on Facebook, they got to talk to us first. So we got that in place. One of the issues that we really is concerned about is that my 12-year-old, she has friends in school, and they're on Snapchat, and there are little things that is being said and posted in this Snapchat group that sometimes affects her emotions or her feelings. So that's one of the things that really concern me, because as a parent, you want to make sure that your kids are protected. No harm is coming to them. There's no issues taking place. So I'm kind of protective when it comes to my kids, when it comes to social media.
I feel like that's really important.
Yeah.
Because not many parents,
they don't really, they just give you the phone, and they don't really pay attention to what you do. They're just aware you have the phone, just not what you're doing on it.
So when did y'all have phones? Do you remember?
I was 6 years old.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I got my first official phone when I was maybe 12 or
First
11.
official phone?
Yeah, I never really had
okay.
a phone that was mine.
Okay.
Oh,
I would just borrow my
that's what I
parents'
meant
phone.
Okay.
I was never given just a phone like that.
Mine just it didn't have any cell service. It was just
Okay, so just Wi-Fi
YouTube,
connection?
basically. That's
okay.
it.
And did y'all have parental controls at all?
No.
I think I did. I was it was limited to what I could watch and what I couldn't watch.
Okay. Wow. That's interesting. Okay, well, any questions for us?
What got you into this type of work?
So I was someone that was bullied. So I'm 29 years old. Don't look like it. But when I was in middle school and high school, Mark is actually my old Spanish teacher.
Wow.
And we're someone that actually was impacted by social media. I was someone who was impacted by social media. And I realized that there needed to be a solution. And being someone who was bullied online, didn't have an outlet, almost committed suicide, and was someone too that didn't know how to articulate that to my family and friends. So I used social media kind of like a third person, if that makes any sense. So the way I explain it is that, for example, let's say me and him, great friends, but he sees me every day, but you don't know that behind the scenes, I'm going through something personal. And even though we talked every day, I didn't feel comfortable telling him.
Yeah.
And I ended up going to social media, which only amplified it times 10. But in my mind, I was not having a negative response publicly to a degree. So I was posting online maybe 30, 40 times a day, became really dependent on it. And eventually, I lost sight of myself. And I ended up basically, I don't know what the laws are here, but it's called the Baker Act law, where if I'm a threat to myself, or any of you thought I was a threat to myself, the cops can come and get me and put me in a mental facility for 72 hours for observation. So that's what happened to me. And, all they had to go off was my social media post. So we learned very quickly that through my social media post, you can see a negative pattern.
Yeah.
And what people don't know, and what I had to learn the hard way, thank goodness I did not get expelled, because I could have. I made threatened to kill some people. I'm on district recording, but it got real bad. And I really could not defend myself, even if I wanted help. I was so far down the rabbit hole that I'm like, hold up, I'm in this facility for a reason. If they can't help me, and I gotta find a way to help myself, because not everybody has an opportunity. And God forbid something happens to where, somebody like Butler and his daughters end up becoming of age, and he's looking at it like there needs to be a solution. What can my daughters use? We created that solution. And it's been, a labor of love, pain, many nights of stress trying to figure out, how do you address this issue? Mind you, I'm from the East Coast. I've never been here before. And to speak with students and to see their reactions, it's kind of like, wow, there's a major problem. And I'm just going to keep it real. Big tech is not addressing. I don't know if you guys know big technology companies like Facebook, Instagram. They're not addressing the problem.
That's true. They're not. And
it's like, they're banning TikTok. A ban to me doesn't solve much or anything if you're not addressing the root cause. So this is why we're here. This is my passion, a passion project that turned into a business, an institute, to impact and influence others to do right, and also pay attention to how your friends are being affected, how your family is being affected. We're losing that family dynamic. And, it's not easy, but someone has to do it. And I'm thankful to have people such as Butler, Jonathan Wicks, Amy, who's been coming out here to bring me out to educate y'all. And y'all listening, to what I have to say, because not everybody has to. So I thank y'all. And that's basically why I do what I do.
That's cool. That's great that you did all that. It's amazing.
Thank you.
I find it very interesting since, you're right. I mean, there's not really much, the TikTok ban, that was, it was just a threat. Yeah. People are just going to find new ways to,
Yeah, there's tons of other apps out there. It's not really going to solve anything if you ban or delete one app. Yeah. There's tons.
It's not going to make, a massive change.
No, and I think that's the misconception of it all. People believe that, if you take that away, no, y'all are smart. Your generation is smart. Y'all will find something, code something different. Y'all will develop a whole other thing that didn't even exist 2 weeks before, and millions of kids will get behind it. Like Snapchat, for example. I went to one school, and I didn't even know there was a setting for privacy on Snapchat. I did not know that until I started talking to people, and they were like, yeah, you got to get updated. I'm like, but it comes so quickly. So, have you heard the term 7 degrees of separation?
No.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Oh, gee, now I feel really old. Well, basically, so 7 degrees of separation is a term that my generation using his generation would say that basically from 7 people to 1, so meaning 6 people can be in the room, you're 7 degrees separate, standing next to each other. Well, I tell people now it's now 1 to 3, because everybody's connected to somebody that you don't even know. How I got here was because of just two connections. You guys know LinkedIn?
Yeah.
I use LinkedIn. That's how I got here.
Oh, wow.
Using social media, and it's all about how you use it and why you use it. Now, can I ask y'all a question? So, when it comes to what y'all want to do after high school, do you guys use social media to promote your passions and things like that, or when it comes to what you guys develop and more podcasting things that you do now?
I would say most of it, yes. Because if you want to do certain things, there's things you'll have to do to get in that direction. And most of that stuff is online.
Yes.
But I do ask my parents when I can, like how they got to where they got, what they did, so I don't have to fully depend on social media.
Smart. Wow.
That's good.
That's a different perspective. I haven't heard that one in a minute.
That's
what
good.
about you?
Well, I mean, social media is like, there's jobs in social media, so I feel like many people want to depend on that kind of thing. And in my opinion, like Lisa, she goes to her parents to like see how they did it, how they, got their careers and stuff. But for me, I mean, I just see, like, I'm gonna be honest, easily influenced by other people's like lives and social media, and it makes me want to like not do exactly what they do, but like kind of like get an inspiration. Like for example, like how to get money and like side hustles.
Okay, so question.
Yeah.
You mentioned side hustles now because there's positive and negatives. What do you see? Like what goes on in your mind in real time, if you don't mind, just so the listeners at home can know, like. So parents that are listening to this, like, what is that to you as a high school student, as someone, like you said, side hustles, what is that to you?
Well, to me, it's like an extra way to get like money. Like it's not like a main job.
Okay.
Like it can come from like social media. It can come from even just talking to people. Like those like stands like outside of like shops. Sometimes I feel like that can be a side hustle, but to some people it's like a real job.
Yeah.
Which isn't a problem, obviously.
So is it easy for you to let your parents know what's going on when it comes to the inspiration that some of the stuff that you see on social media gives you?
I don't think so, since like they come from a different generation. They're a lot older than me, so their like ideas are different from what success is and like how to get money, especially since it's like they come from other countries. So their ideas compared to the American idea, it's like different. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. Or what you're saying is the American dream.
Yeah, exactly.
So what is the American dream to you, or both of you?
I feel like well, not necessarily having to be rich, but just like
being able to live without having to worry about where your next meal is going to come
exactly.
from.
But here's the thing: you just stated earlier that your inspirations and your ideas that you see on social media inspires you to get that side hustle. Most of the time, when it comes to the side hustle on social media, it can be negative, it can be positive. Sometimes it puts you in a position where you find yourself, sometimes, I'm not saying this is you now, sometimes you got some people find themselves stealing, find themselves bullying somebody to get that extra hustle or that extra money in their pocket. They're doing things that not only cause harm to you, but also brings the pressure, the concern, the frustration, the worrying to your parents. So what we can see here, if we're not careful, social media can put us in a position where it dictates who we are and change the person's reality of who we are. You might be the nice girl down the road, but on the side, when it comes to social media, you're trying to get your hustle on. You don't, no matter how you get it done, you're going to get it done. But this is not the person I met or I knew, but on the other side, there's something different. So based on social media, it can make you have this split personality. You're different in one occasion in front of some people, and in others you are this different person. And sometimes we can ask the question, well, I didn't know my daughter did that, or I didn't know. No, yes, she did, ma'am. Look at this. And when we go to the social media, kids' social media, Facebook pages, we question. Hold up, when did this happen? What's going on? So, what we are trying to do here, we're not trying to take it away from you. We are trying to give you steps, give you skills, teach you the best way how to handle social media, the positive way how to use social media. I use social media, but I don't use social media for me personally. I use it as a tool that I am able to post, advertise, or share stuff that the community needs to be aware of. But at the same time, I'm careful of what I post because others are watching. I don't want to give the personality of me as an individual not being that person that I say who I am. So the whole aspect of Social Media Research Institute is to make sure that we're providing you that tool that it can be a better you when it comes to social media. We're not taking anything away from you. We're giving you tips. We are teaching you certain skills. We are teaching you certain ways you can surf. You can go through Facebook. How you can protect your friends, how you can help that friend, how you can be that support to a friend. That's basically the whole aspect. We are giving you an area of prevention. We cannot change anything overnight. It's going to be a while before we take it. Facebook ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg, he's not going to give it up. TikTok ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
No matter how much time you ban this thing, somebody going to buy it and put it back on the market.
Yeah.
Snapchat is not going anywhere. It's going to always be there. But our goal is to provide you with those tools that can protect you, keep you safe. Not trying to do a side hustle in a bad way, but doing a side hustle in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giving you those tools. That's basically what we are trying to do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, but in a way, it depends on, like, it's not just like how you're presenting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying people like it's like a big deal to like care about other people's opinions, but it's
Mm-hmm.
also how your audience views you in
Yeah.
a way, since they're the people that are consuming your content or
Mhm.
the product you're selling or whatever you're trying to advertise, you know? Kind of like that.
You're definitely right. And kind of to piggyback on what y'all are saying about the whole content development thing. So a while back, and just to kind of get a little like theoretical here, a while back I created a theory called the triple conscious theory, where I talk about the public persona, which is basically how people see you in public, the private persona, how your parents may see you, cousins may see you, people that the public will not see. I will never know the private you. And then the social media persona, that's all of us online. But one thing I always say is that what happens when the public and private meet? The only place that can happen is currently online.
Mm-hmm.
Because people sometimes forget that there has to be a balance in life. And online, where you would meet 7 people, you're meeting 300 people. You're in taking content 20 times faster than my generation, where like earlier today we had an engagement and I mentioned, are you familiar with name, image, likeliness? And I yelled, by any chance with sports, is that something, okay, they've not talked about here. So, okay, no problem. On the East Coast, it's called name, image, and likeliness. People get paid for their likeliness, who they are, online. But in person, they make nothing. So they could delete their account tomorrow, lose everything, and just back to zero. That's a thing. That is a real thing that happens.
I didn't know that.
And it's based on your social identity, your social media persona.
Your social status.
Exactly. Your social status. And it's scary. Because for those that aren't aware of themselves, they can develop a whole false identity online. And I know y'all know people here in high school that may do that, where they're influencers, 20, 30, 40,000 followers, but making F's. Getting kicked out of college, high school, getting kicked out of high school, and much more. So all we're trying to do is just say, hey, when you say them, treat them as you should. They're no better than you. You could be a straight A student, 200 followers. The world is going to weigh you on the impact, the value, and what your results are. And people aren't talking about that type of stuff nowadays.
I feel like, it's not just something that's happened to like people here. Actually, no, it has.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the change from middle school to high school, like people in middle school were like popular, right?
Yeah, you have groups.
They have the fan accounts and all that.
Yes, you have these small groups and they identify themselves as popular, but when you come to high school, you're nothing.
It's gone. That popularity goes away.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, the light is on somebody else, and you're trying to hold up. Wait a minute, what happened here? I thought I was popular.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the issue that happens when it comes to social media.
Mm-hmm.
We, as Jonathan said, we are trying to live a triple life: public, private, and social media. At some point in time, you're gonna get confused.
Right.
At some point in time, the truth you're gonna have to come out. But here's the problem: some of us we will better be that social media persona than being our
True selves.
true selves.
Yeah.
Because we're getting the attention, we're getting the likes, we're getting notice. But at the same time, we are struggling with who we are ourselves. At some point in time, you're going to get confused. Because social media see you're one thing, but your parents see you're something else. And then at some point in time, the confusion is going to start, and guess what happened? You're depressed.
Yeah.
You cannot function right. You're unstable. And then they're going to say to you, oh, you got some type of mental illness. No, I don't. It's just that I got to understand the true reality about me. I got to understand that who I am myself, not what social media is telling me. Not what I got to know who I am, and that's that's the issue that we face today, as especially our young people, our middle schools and high schoolers. We're trying to be somebody that we're not supposed to be. When I was growing up, the Jordan shoes, everybody wanted to be like Mike. Everybody wanted to be like Mike.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was a commercial because they was trying to sell Jordans. Be like Mike. But in today's reality, we cannot afford to be like Mike because we don't understand what Mike went through to get where Mike is at right now.
Yeah.
You have a destiny. You got a journey you got to walk out. We got to be ourselves. But at the same time, in order for us to be ourselves, there is where we have to take time to disconnect from that social media persona. Disconnect from the social media standards.
Yeah.
Separate ourselves. Spend some time. Get to know who we are.
Right. Because I think a lot of us get confused between these three personas. Because other times we're different people in school and at home. And on social media, we're none of those people. We're a whole different person.
That's an extra one. You're right. None of them at all.
We're a whole different person on social media. And I think that's where most of kids our age get lost. Because this is a time where we're identifying who we are and what we want to do in the future. And we're getting mixed up between these personalities, which is interfering with what's supposed to happen naturally.
Yes. Yeah. Natural growth can be stunted through outside influences. And not only outside influences, but targeted influences. And that's even the worst part. Well, that's not even a word, but that's even worse compared to when I was using it, to where we didn't have algorithms like that, where algorithms are targeted to impact you. So if you say, oh, I want to do podcasting, I could turn on my phone right now and I'll probably get a whole bunch of ads about podcasting. Knowing I've never talked about it before, years ago, but because I just left, now I'm being targeted financially, with other podcasts, with other influencers that do podcasting, which happens very often nowadays. We're in as we would say, a brave new world. And if you ever get a chance to read that book, you'll see what I'm talking about. And it's class systems. Social media is all about class systems. It brings in the different dynamics of places you've never been before. So opening your mind to new beliefs, new ideas, new ideologies. And this is stuff that in your high school classes, as you matriculate to senior year, you'll realize that a lot of people around you are kind of dealing with things that they'll never speak on in person.
Yeah.
And what I challenge when I challenge everyone listening, is to, ask your friends, how are you doing today? What is your social media persona? How is it impacting you? What is your dominant persona? Your public life, your private life, or your social media life? If they say social media, that's a problem, a major problem. But instead of scolding someone and being upset about it, how can we help you identify and address that in a positive light?
Right.
Sometimes we all go through things that nobody knows really is happening.
And one of the things that we push with our social media first aid is peer-to-peer relationship, peer-to-peer mentoring, peer-to-peer assistance, because who can better help you than your friend? Because at some point in time there's a relation taking place. Y'all can relate because you're the same age, you'll quicker listen to her than your mom. Am I right? She give you advice, suggestion. You quicker because you know why? Because you guys can relate. You guys understand each other. As you said earlier, your parents are from a different country, different age, different time, but your friend, your peer understand what you're going through. Your friend, your peer is the one that is on your Facebook page. They don't want to say, hey, don't do that, don't say that, hey, what? They understand. So we have one of the things that we push within social media first aid is that peer-to-peer, the one-on-one, because we understand what each of you are going through, and they can be a help, they can be assistance. It's that buddy system. I always told my daughter, I said, a true friend wouldn't tell you to do something wrong. A true friend wouldn't pick a fight with you. A true friend will tell you the truth, will never lie to you. A true friend will always have your best interest in mind.
Yeah.
That's a true friend. But at the same time, you cannot say you're my true friend and behind my back you're posting and saying negative things about you and I on Facebook. You're getting upset at me because I'm getting all the attention. You're indulging with me in the wrong I'm doing when it comes to my social media post. So it's all about taking you from where you're at to take into a place where you can be successful in life. One of the things we did this morning is we was at another presentation this morning, and
Blair High School.
One of the students said that social media it has an issue when it comes to them sleeping at night, and when they're not sleeping at night, they cannot function properly the next day when it comes to school. You're busy on your social media page late at night trying to out fires or trying to be somebody you're not, and then when it comes to school the next day you cannot fully function when it comes to your academic because you can't be successful because you're trying to keep up with your persona on Facebook at the same time trying to maintain that B or the A in school. It's not going to work because you're busy trying to create something that you are not. So what we do, we encourage that peer-to-peer accountability within the work that we do with social media first aid.
Right. So may I ask y'all a question? So after hearing, this, being introduced to it, brand new, no preparation for this. Now that you know, what do you think schools, districts should do? What do you think schools should do to address this? Beyond just first aid, how do you think they should approach it? Should it be quick? Should it be a long-term, short-term type thing, education around it? What would y'all want to see in the coming future to address this massive problem?
I would definitely, sorry.
Don't worry.
I would definitely want it to be a long-term type of thing, especially for new generations coming. Because we're bad. Imagine how they're going to be in 20 years. We sort of have a perspective of what we want to do, but they have this new generation. They're born with phones, basically. They're handed phones as soon as they can walk or talk. And us, we were kind of slowed down a bit to a little older ages. They're just handed everything because parents either don't want to deal with them or they just simply don't care.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of ruins your childhood or certain things you're supposed to do as you're growing up. because you have a phone or you have a tablet right in front of you. And kids now, they will choose to be on their phone. They won't want to go outside. They'll want to be inside using their phone or watching TV or something. They'll prefer that over being outside with people or interacting. And I think that's something we need to talk about, because there's going to be more generations coming. And we need to have people who will lead us, people who we can depend on for things we need. And right now it's just kind of like, oh, we'll be missing those people if social media just keeps evolving with them.
And who are those people you would want to see? If you don't, both of y'all mind answering this question, who would y'all want to see? Is it police officers? Is it teachers? Is it counselors? Is it principals? Is it the people at at the school board? Are they, because they're the ones that really make the decisions? Do y'all feel heard?
No, I think because they think we're younger and they're older and they came from a different generation, that they know more. They do know more, but we're newer and we have a new perspective of what's happening in school and what's happening on social media. Sometimes it gets tiring because we're trying to put our perspectives and they keep knocking it down because it's not what they agree with and it's not what they grew up with.
Yeah, I feel like it's not like necessarily that we think like that adults are trying to like knock our ideas down and stuff. We do have our own ideas, and basically they don't probably think we have like the best ideas. Since we're like really young, and usually they think of teenagers as like making dumb decisions, like stupid, which is true. We've all made dumb decisions, but it's not necessarily us, And I feel like what would help, like bring these issues to like many people, it's like the majority would be like just having like students like not like force them together, but like just have their opinions heard,
Like a council.
Yeah.
Like a council between the schools, and y'all come together and figure out who's the leader here, and each school has a leader, and kind of like a SGA. You familiar with SGA by any chance? Student Government Association? Do y'all do that? Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, so it's kind of like, the idea I just basically threw out there. It's like, so basically, you just have a whole bunch of students that come together, such as yourself. You guys would be the voices of the group. So, as there's things that come up in the schools related to social media, y'all will be the advocates for people. People come to y'all, of course, it's, give and take. So eventually you become a mentor, like Mark was saying. And that's something too, where, if you have nobody to lead or give hope, where do you go? And that's something where, I'm glad that, y'all are able to understand, but also see that there is a future for this. Because, as I said, individuals at the district level, local level, state level need to hear your voices. Y'all are powerful. You know that, right? Y'all are powerful. Y'all are. And y'all have influence. They have to listen to you. It's all about the perspective. If someone can come from Orlando, Florida, fly all the way across the country to come to this school, which until yesterday I've never heard of, but y'all inspired me to keep going. That's power. Y'all inspired Butler to, go to his state, talk to the kids and parents that he's going to be speaking to. That's impactful. So,
and one of the things that the unique things about Social Media Research Institute is that we have created a program tailgated just for you guys. What comes to you, man, when I say the word unplug?
Unplug. Well, to me, it's like not necessarily like restrict yourself, but in a way, restrict yourself from like technology that is being used by people in a bad way, like
Okay, and basically that's what it's all about. Yeah. We provided a workbook, and within that workbook, it gives you certain principles, certain skills, how to combat the harms that social media bring about to you. And not only that, there's a mentorship component that we provide as well for you, where some of the things you can't talk to your mom and dad about, but you have an adult figure that is paired up with you that you can talk to, and they'll be able to give you the support, the understanding, to guide you, to lead you and direct you. But at the same time, we're making sure that you're not facing those issues that some people face on Facebook, or social media, the bullying, or you're trying to hide something. We give you that support through that unplugged aspect where we're not only teaching those life skills, we're not only providing you the peer support, but we're providing you with that mentor that is support to you as well. But at the same time, we're trying to get you to a place where you know how to engage more with your friends, engage more with your family, able to have those family conversations. Now keep in mind, we're trying to bring back your culture back into your lives. Many of us, we don't understand our culture. We don't understand where your family comes from. So by allowing you to disengage or plug from social media for time period, you're able to build that family relationship back, able to have that conversation, that more engagement within your community, able to have those life skills ability in your life. So we are creating that aspect for you so you can function normally. That if anything's happening to take away Facebook or social media from you, you can function. Because you just don't, some of these days, if you take away your kid's phone, it's like they're going to pass out. What do you mean you take my phone away? It's a problem. So what we try to provide for you, and what we are providing for you, is those outlets that you don't always have to be so dependable upon those social media outlets. They can able to stand on your own with the basic skills and principles that we are teaching you, but at the same time have the support for you academically, socially, culturally, and community wise. So these are the areas that we try to get you to a place where you don't have to be so dependent on social media. Like Mr. Bertrand mentioned earlier, we have our social media status, we have our private status, and we have our public status. Those statuses are going to change after a period of time when you have learned to unplug yourself from those times that you spend so many times on social media. I know someone who sits all day from the time they get out of bed to the time they go to bed. They're on TikTok. What are you doing? I'm just looking at these videos. But they haven't had the time throughout the day to just separate themselves, unplug themselves, get that on, go get some fresh air, walk in the neighborhood. So we provide an opportunity for you. So that's one of the things that we provide, that we try ourselves to build ourselves around when it comes to youth, how to unplug, and the way that we got it done is by asking our youth question.
This is all like technically us understanding you. So there's things that I don't know that y'all just said today where I didn't know, y'all didn't know what this was or that was, and that y'all were even interested in having something like that. So this is why, bringing these type of discussions is key, is valuable, because you never know who you're talking to. You never know the people that are in the room and what type of influence they may hold. And remember, your voice is heard. So one thing I just want to say, is just, one post can change the mind, one comment can change a generation. And I always say that, you look how people post, you're the generation. 2 generations, there's 3 generations in this room, 4 generations in this room. And, we're all impacted in some way, some shape or form. But today, our conversation today probably just changed your guys' perspective on something, what you may do tomorrow. And that's all we look to do. Thank you.
Well, that was a very interesting talk. And
I definitely say it did open my mind to a lot of things, because some things we don't hear these types of things from adults.
Yeah, we don't really have like not necessarily one-on-one, because this isn't a one-on-one, but like just hearing adults like from different generations talking to us
about stuff like this.
It just opens up like what we think,
Because our parents won't talk to us about this kind of stuff. Maybe they'll briefly mention it, but they won't go into full detail on these types of topics.
Yeah.
And it's all about creating the safe space. And like you said, someone has to start it. maybe I know this podcast will get to somebody. Where? We don't know yet, but only time will tell. And, you know, y'all don't mind speaking about it. And that's the first start. Me and him, we can go to 20 different schools. But if nobody talks about it, there's no impact. So we appreciate y'all and thank y'all.
Yeah, and we hope the viewers that are watching us think the same or even think differently about
social media.
Yeah, about social media and the impact it has on us. So we are gonna close this topic for today, and we will see you next Monday, right?
Right, next
Monday. So, bye.